Hello everyone, welcome to your Illustrator Creative Challenge. That was actually the wrong intro, just realized it as it was playing, but hi, I'm Andrew Hochradel right down there. If you want to join us today, you can grab your source file in the description down below. And if you would like to join the Creative Challenges, you can always do that right here, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time, every single day here on behance.net/Adobe Live. Let's go ahead and hop in. Hopefully you have that source file and you're ready to work because right now we're hopping into Illustrator. You can join the Discord over there at that link, which is also down in the description. So today, our challenge is to create a hypnotic business card, design custom business cards with a hypnotic twist using warp tools and repeat patterns. I am in my black and white today because I wanted to do a little bit of hypnosis on you. And we will be making a business card for a magician. You can use these tools in any other way. I know that this style is a little specific, but it's really fun, and hopefully you can use these tools in a way that is fitting to your business or whatever you're trying to create. So let's go ahead and hop in here. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to create one of those spinny wheel kind of illusion circles. And the easiest way to do that, there are two ways. So I'm going to show you both ways, and you can kind of decide which one works best for you. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a triangle. Right? I'm going to make one triangle that's more of kind of a point, more of a spear of a triangle. And the best way that I found to do that, there's two ways. One, you could do a star, and you think of a star having 5 points, but if you click and you can set the amount of points to 3, a 3-pointed star, that's right, it's a triangle. Or we can simply come over here and grab the polygon tool. We can click and drag and hold that click and then hit down. And each time you hit down, it will actually give you one less point or one more point if you hit up. So you can make easy polygons like that. And we're going to use that to make our triangle. So triangle looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and just use the eyedropper tool to grab this black that is over here. I'm going to hit R for rotate and just rotate that 180 degrees. So from here, I can just click the side, hold Alt or Option to squeeze it in, and then I have this nice kind of spear of a triangle, and that's what I want, nice little spear. If you see me moving around the artboard, I'm just holding space, and that's allowing me to move around the artboard freely. If you see the zoom tool, I'm hitting Z or hitting Z and holding Alt to zoom out. All right, so from here, we can do a couple different things. The first thing that I'm going to show you is doing a transform again to create that starburst effect. So we're going to hit R, which is rotate. And when we scroll down here, you can see that it locks onto the anchor. If you don't see that little purple thing, you can go to View and turn on Smart Guides. They're going to be really helpful in our lesson today. So zooming in, we're going to go to rotate and then come down here to where it has this path, right? We want to sit on anchor. You can see a little purple dot over there. You want that to say anchor. And from there, we're going to hold Alt or Option. And you can see right there, those 3 little dots that pop up. It's very, very subtle, but you can see 3 little dots pop up. And when we click, it is actually going to rotate from that spot that we clicked, holding Alt or Option. So I want to do 30 degrees right here, and we can turn on that preview to see how far it is rotating. So that's not quite enough for me. I actually want it a little bit tighter, so I'm going to change it to 15. Yeah, okay, I'm not mad about it. We'll do that. Let's do 20, because 360 divided by 20, that's even. All right, so we can hit copy. And now we've made a copy of this starburst, but we need a bunch of copies of this starburst. So we're going to go ahead and right here go to Object, Transform, and Transform Again. What this is doing is it's telling Illustrator, hey, everything you just did, go ahead and do it again, right? Grab that shape and rotate from this point 20 degrees, but make a copy. When you're doing this, if we go in here and use rotate, right? Hold Alt or Option and click. If you just type in 20 and then hit OK, it's just going to move that object. We don't want that. We want to make sure that we hit copy because we're telling Illustrator to do this again. We want it to make multiple copies. So again, Object, Transform, Transform Again, or you can hit Control or Command D and watch what happens. It does it again. So you can actually just hold that down or hit it a bunch of times and it will keep rotating by 20 degrees until we have that full 360. All right, we're getting somewhere. We've got a nice little twist to it, but we need to give it an actual twist. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move one of these off to the side. We'll use that later. That's my cooking demo. We'll put that one in the oven for a little bit later. And from here, we are going to select all these. And actually, let's go ahead and do the other way so we can see a side by side. I actually think that will be easier. And then I'll show you how to create the illusion. So I'm going to grab this, pull it over here. And what we can do is we are going to use a tool that is a radial repeat. So we're going to use repeats here. And check this out. What we can do is we can go to Object, we can go to Repeat, and then go to Radial. And what that's going to do is it's going to start, boom, giving a radial repeat. It looks a little bit too big for me right now, but that's fine because I can grab this point right here and just drag it down until these touch right in the middle. I want to make sure that that says 90-ish. All right, pretty close to 90. Looks good. And so now they're touching right in the middle, but this one on the right has way more little pieces. Whoops. So what I want to do to add more pieces is just click and drag this up. And as we click and drag this up, it's going to give us a lot more of those pieces until we're right there, which I believe that those are almost identical at this point. So super easy. And if we wanted to, we could even move where this starts or stops to give us less points. And this is really helpful for creating logos, right? I could see this be a logo for a train company, for maybe an energy company. It's super helpful to create some geometric logos using the tool here, which is called radial repeat. We took the long way around, y'all. So we have both of these here. And on the left, these are all individual shapes. So what I might need to do is come in here and just group them, Control G. Here, this is still a live object. And so I can mess around with it. I can add more points. I can rotate it, but I don't want that. I want that to be expanded. So all I need to do is go to Object, Expand, and then hit OK. And now you can see it is just like this shape over here. It is just expanded shapes. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this one, and we're just going to work with this one over here. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do, you're getting sleepy, very, very sleepy. I don't know why I turned into the Count from Sesame Street. So what we're going to do here is we are going to go to Effect, and we're going to try to get that twist. And the best way to get that twist is to add a twist effect. So we're going to go to Warp, and then we are going to go to Twist. And that's going to start to give us that nice little twisted kind of vibe. So if we wanted to, we could actually just twist one side. So right here, it's only twisting horizontally, or we could only twist vertically. I'll just show you what those look like. We're not going to do it that way, but you can get some really interesting shapes by playing around with the different twists here. So we're going to put this at 100% and hit OK. So this, not enough twist for me. I need a little more twist. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this. I'm going to go to Object and Expand Appearance. And what's great is it now has expanded this into a new shape. So you can see it is actually its own shape again, not just an augmented radius. We can go to Effect and Apply Twist again. So it will be right there in your filters. You can hit Control-Shift-E to do it again. And yes, let's twist again. So you can see we are twisting again, one more time. So then we'll go back to Object, Expand Appearance, looks good. I mean, why not? Let's do one more. That's too much. That's too much. That's crazy. So we have our twist here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crop this into a circle. Now, a lot of this challenge is going to be reliant on clipping masks. So I'm going to click and drag this out until it gets to the edge of one of these shapes, right? We want to make sure that the shape is staying inside. I'm going to grab a copy of this just so we have it. And we will select both of these and then right click and go to make clipping mask. Boom. We did it. So we have made a clipping mask of our hypnotic shape. Let me go ahead and zoom in here and see what happens. Ooh, you're getting sleepy, very sleepy. When I snap my fingers, you'll subscribe to this channel on the Adobe Live YouTube. Shameless. You can click up there on the title and subscribe to the channel to get updates. All right, so we have this here, and I'm going to go ahead and just put this in the background of our business card. And I'm going to fill the entire shape because I think it's going to look pretty cool. So I'm just going to scale this up so it's nice and big. And from there, we are going to do a clipping mask on a clipping mask. So we can make a shape, which is just a rectangle here, and click and go to, I believe this is 3.5 by 2. I was ready to do pixels. 3.5 by 2 are the dimensions of this, and hit OK. We're doing a business card. So from there, I can align and align right there. And I'm so sorry for everyone that's looking at their screen and having trouble. We can go ahead and overlap these, right click, and make a clipping mask. And now we have a clipping mask of a clipping mask. All right, so we have our awesome hypnotic background, but I want to go ahead and add in my name as if I was a magician. And maybe I'll add in my logo. Let's do that. Let's add in my logo so that we can kind of play around as if I were the magician that was working on this tool. So the easiest way to do that is I can actually just type it out. I do have my logo somewhere, but we're just going to type it out, HOCH, with an exclamation mark and co. That is my logo. We're going to get something that is nice and tall using our Adobe fonts. Something that is condensed, tall, and maybe a little bit thicker. And let's find something right here. This looks great. Condor. So we're going to align this to the center. Looks pretty good to me. And maybe I want this to be in a different color, right? Maybe I want it to be in a bright red. So we have this crazy contrast. And I think that looks good. So I'm just going to outline it. Control-Shift-O is the hotkey I use there. You can go to Object Expand. And then we're going to align it to the center. So this looks great, but I want some of these elements to overlap so that it has a real dimensional quality to it. And this is pretty crazy. It's hurting my eyes a little bit, but that's the effect that we're going for. I'm actually going to take this red down a little bit so it's not as jarring on our eyes. There we go. That looks a little better marginally. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a bunch of shapes, and we're going to cheat the system here. We are going to cheat to create some dimension by using clipping masks. We're going to use a bunch of copies and a bunch of clipping masks to make it look like we've done this super ornate over and under and interweaving of all these letters, but it's really just going to be a bunch of clipping masks. So what I'm going to do is use the pen tool to just carve out some areas that I want to be over our letters. So we're going to use the pen tool up here, or hit P, and then we're going to click around the area that we want the black to be in front of a letter. And what's cool is because these are just black shapes, we don't have to worry about the white that we're using. So I'm going to use a blue here. That'll cool off our eyes just a little bit. Do we want to change this to that blue? Okay, that actually makes me feel better about looking at it. So let's leave it in this nice calm blue. Looks good. And someone's asking in our live chat, what happens if we put a twist on the name as well? Let's find out. If you want to, tune into our live chats every day at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time so you can make suggestions and we can take them live on air. So we're going to go to Effect. I'm going to apply that twist. And yes, it gets really wild. It starts to twist those letters in there. Doesn't look great, but just wanted to show you how to do it. So I'm going to go around and just kind of click on different areas that I might want this black to overlap these letters. You can kind of pick and choose what works for you. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, we're not doing the letters. We're just clicking on where we want the black to overlap these letters. And so I think go right there. And you can pick with your own discretion. Just make sure that it is overlapping the letter that you want it to go over. And it's hard because we definitely want to make sure that it's a letter like this that we can get both sides, right? We want to get the entire shape over the letter. So anywhere in here is going to get complicated because it's so tight and there are so many pieces that we'd have to be aware of. So I'd keep it around the edges and kind of just play around clicking through to create this kind of layered text effect. All right, one more letter. I know that this is the most daunting, tedious thing to watch, but I promise it will be worth it. Pinky promise. We'll just do one there, and then over here we'll do one big one over the side there, big one over the side there. And then maybe this H, we want one side to be under and one side to be over. So we'll take that under. All right, so I have all these green shapes, and you can see I'm kind of grabbing pieces and bits, and it looks a little crazy, but we want to grab just the background. So the easiest way to do that is to shift click all of these green parts that we have designated that we want to cut out. So from there, we are going to create a compound path. And this is very, very important. You have to create a compound path to make a clipping mask. So we go to Object, Path, compound path, there it is down there, and make. That is going to make all this as if it was one object, right? It will all move together. From there, we're going to grab our background, which is already a clipping mask in a clipping mask, and we're going to put it in another clipping mask. So we need to make a copy of it, hitting Control C, and then going to Edit, Paste in Place. That will paste it exactly where it is. You can see that it's gone in front of our clipping mask or in front of our shapes. So we're going to go right click, arrange, and send backward. That'll just send it one level back. From there, we can grab our compound path of all of our shapes, right click, and make another clipping mask. And now you can see we have this great dimension of the letters kind of meandering through what we're working with, right? This looks super cool. If we wanted to get really crazy, we could even, let's see what happens when we do this. If we put a stroke on my name on the logo, that's gonna look crazy town. That's wild, y'all. So you can see here that it's actually cropping over some of these letters. I'm not mad about it, but it's a little wild. Let's see if we reverse that. It is even more wild. So we'll leave it there, but it looks really cool creating that kind of layered effect. And that's what I want you to do today is play around and try to create, one, this hypnotic spiral using the twists, but two, try to create something that kind of weaves in and out of each other, right? Really, really kind of cheating hack way to do this, but it works really, really well, right? You don't have to do any kind of specific illustration. You can just use clipping masks to create a really, really cool effect. So I'm going to show you how to do this. This is going to get wild. And we are going to do it in 3 dimensions. 3 dimensions. All right, so let's do a 3D. Someone in our live chat is saying red stroke. So let's go ahead and try it. Not mad about it. Not mad about it at all. I do need to align the stroke to the center because of the way that I created the type. So let's just do a very soft stroke. That looks cool. That looks very cool. Great suggestion. Love it. All right, so we're going to create it in 3D now, and I want to create kind of 2 links that are linked together. If you've seen, right, those like hoops that magicians do, like the hoop through, and they're like, aha, and then they like pull the hoop out, or they pull the hoop in. I don't know. We're going to try to do that. We're going to try to do a hoop together. Just hoops. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a little circle here. And this circle, we're just going to make it a gray circle for now. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of a gray right there. And with this selected, we can go up and go to Effect. We can go to 3D and Materials and do Revolve. And that is going to create a donut or a hoop. You guessed it, it's a hoop. So we can offset this by just a little bit, and you can see that we're starting to get some dimension. We want to make sure that we have some good dimension here. And also, let's zoom in and just appreciate how good this render is. It's a little pixelated now, but if I turn on ray tracing, it'll be crazy. But look at how smooth that looks. So what we're going to do is we are going to create 2 of these that lock together with our awesome kind of wavy pattern on it. Let's see here. We want full hoops. So we're going to do a full 360. And if I want to kind of move this around and change it, I can click and drag, rotate, transform, and it will actually transform it for me in real time. So I can kind of see what's happening. And I think that that looks pretty good. Now there's a couple things that we can do here. And I'm going to do this just to have a different texture is I'm going to grab the pen tool and just draw a straight line right there. Now I'm going to put a very thick black stroke on this one. So let's do 10 pixels. From here, let's go ahead and stretch this out just a little bit, but I'm going to make copies. I'm holding I'm holding Alt and Shift to create a copy. I'm fighting a sneeze. If you see my face doing weird things, I'm fighting sneezing directly into the microphone. So we have made a copy. Again, we're just holding Alt and Shift to create that copy. And then once we've done that, we say, Illustrator, I'd like to do that again, please. Control D, or go up to Object and Transform again. So then we can create a couple of these to kind of create a pattern. So with all these selected, I'm going to show you another great tool to create some psychedelic, hypnotic looks. You can go to Effect, you can go to Distort and Transform, and then ZigZag. This is the perfect way to create waves, to create chevrons. The size is how much they are going to be moving, and then the rides per segment is how many ups and downs they have, right? So I actually want these to be smooth. So the corner will create chevrons, smooth will create waves. And I'm going to take the size down. There we go. So we've got some really funky waves going on there. And we're going to hit OK. Now that I have these, I can actually click and drag because we're going to apply them to the 3D shape. I can click and drag this entire shape that I have right over into the 3D and materials box. From there, I can come down and grab my 3D shape and simply, with a click, add that art to the shape. Now, you can't see it because it is floating inside an area that this shape is not, right? There is no shape there, but if I click and drag, it will very quickly grab onto this shape, and you can see that it's starting to give me this very psychedelic wave. Ooh, that's so fun. You can click and drag to kind of expand this up, and maybe we want it to kind of hit right there. Where it's joining right here is getting a little bit wonky, but we'll leave it for now. It's fine. We'll put the other shape over this to hide it. So we've got this cool kind of wavy wonkiness happening on our 3D shape, but we want another one because we want to, again, get those two loops linking together. So I can go to Edit, Copy, and Edit, Paste in Place. Boop. And it has actually pasted another one of these. With my selection tool, I can use that free transform. Oops, let me select it. Give me that free transform. What's going on here? There we go. Rotate freeform. And I'm going to kind of move it this way. Let's see. Where do I want this to go? Maybe right there. And I'm going to move it to an area that I can easily interlock it. And maybe I want it to be a little bit smaller. So we're just going to scale that down. And you can see right there that there is an area that I can cut it out. Now, again, we can very easily Control-C, copy, Control-Shift-V, paste in place. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click in the area that I want to cut this out, that I want it to be over that shape. So with our over area selected, we can select our 3D shape, right click, and we can do make clipping mask. So it doesn't look like anything because I need to send our other shape, which is floating out here, to the back. So right click, arrange, and send to back. And boom, now we have these interlocking hoops that are looking really cool. From there, we could add some information about our name. We could add a phone number and contact or whatnot. We don't necessarily have time to do that right now, but what I want you to do is to create your own hypnotic business card. And I want you to work with shapes, work with radial repeats, and then try out the twist trick. If you have extra time, go ahead and try to map some of your psychedelic hypnotic art onto a 3D shape. We could also very easily put this onto a sphere, put it onto any other shape without just literally a click. It takes a click to do that. So it's super easy. After that, I want you to take a screenshot or export these. And then right over there, bit.ly/AI Discord. I'd love for you to put it in our Discord. You can see all kinds of people posting their work from past challenges. And you can get feedback from our mentors over here, as well as get connected with the broader community. We have a ton of different Discords here at Adobe. So find a Discord that's right for you. There's one for pretty much every program: video, Photoshop, Illustrator, and great job, Infinity. This looks awesome. We did some experimental type the other day, learning about how to work with typography. So we're always learning and we're always trying something new. Join the Discord, and as always, join me here 11:30 a.m. Pacific time every day at behance.net/Adobe Live here on Adobe Live. I doubled up at the end there. Bye. Have a great day.